Hi, I'm Sari, a medical student from Universitas Padjadjaran Bandung, and currently I'm studying philosophy, education, and Scottish literature for one semester at the University of Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom. Right now, I'm standing inside the biggest and coolest learning hub you can find at the University of Glasgow, James McKeon Smith Learning Hub. I aspired to have at least one exchange during my undergraduate study. So when IISMA opened the registration in May 2021, I was excited. It was exhilarating. So I took Duolingo tests. I constructed my essay carefully. I prepared my interview thoroughly, and I prayed all the time. When finally the result is out, I thought I couldn't get in, but turns out I did. I got in. It was the most magical moment in my life, where suddenly I could go 7,000 miles away from home, from Indonesia, and study abroad in United Kingdom, a country that I only seen in movies. Departure was incredibly fun. I always love flying, I always love airplanes, but going somewhere far away with a bunch of amazing people, other 28 people, makes it better. We had to quarantine first for 10 days at the government-approved hotel, and that is quite long, but it's okay. For that period, I noticed that there are distinct differences between Scottish people. Scottish people talk English differently. They have Scottish accent, and for me, it sounds a bit like a murmur rather than clear words. But well, eventually, I could adapt to it. But yeah, beside that, I have also adapted with 6-hour time difference between the UK and Indonesia. But all is well. You know, when I finished quarantine, the courses at the University of Glasgow, or we can call it UOFG, has been started. I took 3 classes: philosophy, education, and Scottish literature. In philosophy, we learn about making argument, which one is valid, which one is not. Well, then we also learn about education, why is that matters, and also how it shaped our life, how education shaped our life. In Scottish literature, however, we learn about Gaelic. Do you know Gaelic? Gaelic is an old Scots language. We read poetry, ballads, even novel. Well, I admit that it was very hard for me for the first time, because it was very different from what I learned in my home university, which is medicine. But that's what makes it interesting. It's interesting because I gained a lot of new insight from different perspectives. I had a lot of discussion with people. I also become aware about things that I haven't been aware before. So I think it's a good thing, and I realized that all majors are important. All majors should collaborate for the better of society. We should collaborate, guys, and that is what I gained from learning at the University of Glasgow. Collaboration, teamwork. I did a lot of essay here though for my exam and assignment. It was my first time writing an essay, because back in medical school, we used to write scientific journal or article, but we never write about social sciences essay. So I found it was very challenging for me. However, University of Glasgow has been very helpful. All the lecturers guide me, and my peers, my colleagues in class supported me, so I succeed in obtaining an A in one of my essay, which I really think that is great, and I'm very proud of it. Here, I joined 2 societies. The first one, the Harry Potter Club Societies, because I'm a Potterhead. My house is Gryffindor, for information. And the second one, I joined a Global Health Student Society, because I'm majoring in medicine and I really love global health issue. Besides societies, I also volunteered in an NGO, non-governmental organization, in annual climate change event COP26 in Glasgow. It was very exciting because, well, I met a lot of people from various backgrounds, and I was really glad to know them. Well, but if I could go back in time, I would really love to join sports societies like walking societies or hiking societies, because I thought it was fun and it's good for my body. And I would also love to join a medical society because I would really love to get acquainted with medical students from all over the world. Now that the IISMA program has come to an end, I would like to address two huge changes after studying at the University of Glasgow. First, I become really infatuated with books, with reading. I used to love reading books a lot, even before IISMA. However, it was more like a hobby rather than habit. After UOFG's reading culture, I become more infatuated with reading. I love reading books every week. Maybe it was because we get to discuss what we read in the class, with the lecturer, or even our friends. It was making the reading activity itself more interesting. Second, questioning and confusion is a vital part of learning process. UOFG acknowledges that and appreciates that, even encourage us as a student to explore beyond what has been given in the seminar, lecture, or class. We are thought to be curious about everything, knowledge or skills. And I think I become more thirsty in studying after IISMA. These two academic changes, reading culture and curiosity, is the two things that I hope can be implemented in Indonesia, especially Universitas Padjadjaran. Because I think if we implement these two things, these crucial two things, we can expand our capacity to learn and improve our knowledge altogether. Besides academic, I also realized that people who we met during our travel or studying has a lot of life stories to tell, one that we can learn from. I met people who is very passionate about climate change because she is looking at the real problem and looking at how much climate change affect her own community. I also met people who study psychology because she's very concerned about it and she struggles with her own mental health and she wants to help others. So after IISMA, I would really love to talk, a real talk, and discuss things with people more. Because stories like that, we could learn from it. Stories like that are very inspiring and empowering, and it could be a life-changing insight for other people. 3 months have passed and it is time to go home. I would really love to share my stories, my journeys, my insight, my experience to my home university and my peers in Indonesia. I'm committed to share my stories to other people, and I still plan to do so in the long future. I would also love to make a mentorship program for those who want to join IISMA, because I think empowering people is empowering ourselves. Sharing is caring. I am officially IISMA biased because IISMA let me experience things that I've never experienced before. I gained a lot of insight and stories that will be very useful for me, for my study, and my life mission in the future. Thank you, IISMA. IISMA, be bold to go abroad.